As of making this video, the coronavirus, or COVID-19, has infected 192 countries, with at least 350,000 unique cases and more than 15,000 deaths. With many countries slow to recognise the problem and its potential, the number of cases is rising exponentially. Democratic governments in Italy, France and Spain have now begun to implement stronger measures, imposing stringent lockdowns and closing borders. However, while the West bears the brunt of the epidemic, China appears to have somewhat immobilised the virus, seeing consecutive days with 0 new local cases. If these numbers are more than a statistical anomaly, it would mark a momentous turnaround for the Chinese government. After obscuring data and misinforming the public about COVID-19, the government has since enforced severe restrictions on travel and put in place large-scale surveillance systems, which involve identifying and following up with people who have come into contact with the virus.
My purpose is to make sure that all of this information is not lost or deleted.
In the Hubei province alone, almost 60 million people have been placed under lockdown, some reporting even being tracked and monitored by police. In addition, gyms and event halls have been repurposed into temporary isolation facilities, and entire hospitals have been constructed in days to facilitate new cases. The province of Guangdong has seen over 320,000 people get tested, with just 0.47% returning positive. I think it's fair to say the Chinese government has taken an aggressive stance to fight this pandemic. However, their draconian measures are unlikely to be mirrored by other countries, and questions have been raised about the accuracy of China's statistics and also the sustainability of such extreme measures. Countries such as Singapore, Taiwan and Hong Kong, however, have managed to slow the virus through less severe actions. As of Friday the 20th of March, Singapore reported just 187 confirmed cases. The 3 most effective actions used by these countries were travel restrictions, quarantine and self-isolation. However, it's important to note that these broad measures are only effective if there's a national commitment. The UK, for instance, has now ordered all pubs, restaurants and gyms to close, after many Brits chose to ignore government advice to stay home. It seems those worst affected by the virus are those whose governments acted reactively rather than proactively, only taking drastic measures as a reaction to a surge in cases. Spain have now banned all non-essential travel after the death toll rose by 30% in 24 hours, and Italy is on lockdown as 793 deaths are reported in one day, bringing their total death toll to over 5,000. Italy's experience shows that steps to isolate need to be put in place with absolute clarity. Unfortunately, many countries are now suffering the consequences of inadequate preparation, with growing concern that countries' health systems will become overwhelmed, as exhausted doctors and nurses now face a shortage in protective equipment and beds to treat new patients. In order to minimise the influx of new cases, everyone must conform to the measures implemented by their government, and as an individual, social distancing is essential.